There really is never a dull moment when it comes to Manchester United these days. Christian Eriksen ruled out for 3 to 4 months. It's transfer deadline day. We're weak. We're thin in options. We need a midfielder. Can we sign anybody? Erik Ten Hag? Nah, we're not going to sign anybody. We've got Fred. We know, sod that. Let's go after Marcel Sabitzer from Bayern Munich. Breaking news that Manchester United are in talks to sign Sabitzer. I'm going to run through the full story for you. As I do here on United People's TV, make sure you do subscribe because this could well develop across the course of the day, and it has to develop very, very quickly. Now, let's give you the full story on Christian Eriksen and that injury. We know full well that he is out for the next 3 to 4 months, and we felt that Man United needed a signing. I was saying about Gravenberch from Bayern Munich. Seems like I might have got it wrong. It looks like it's going to be Sabitzer. This is a very interesting one that nobody really saw coming. Let me explain to you how this story has developed over the last hour or so. Started with Florian Plettenberg coming from Sky in Germany, saying that both Manchester United and Chelsea were both interested in signing Sabitzer from Bayern Munich and that they were both in talks with the club. That was followed up by Christian Falk, who of course writes for Bild, saying, look, this is true. Man United are in talks with Bayern Munich over a deal for Sabitzer. Fabrizio Romano has followed up on that, saying that Man United have approached Bayern, but Chelsea are focused on different players. So Man United discussing terms with Bayern after the news on the Christian Eriksen injury. And I said this to you. I said Manchester United, we would have known about the Eriksen injury now because we found out about it today. United would have obviously been working on this behind the scenes since yesterday. Jason Burt for The Telegraph confirming that United are trying to take Sabitzer on loan from Bayern Munich. Let's listen to what the breaking report is coming out of Germany as well.
Right, I just got a call that here behind me at the building there is Hasan Salihamidzic, the sporting director, having his phone in the hand and talking to Chelsea and talking to Manchester United about a deal for Marcel Sabitzer. He has an offer from both clubs because after the injury of Christian Eriksen, they need a defensive midfielder. Sabitzer, Austrian international, is a very good player, and Bayern is ready to give him away on loan or just to sell him. And Chelsea, it seems that the Fernandes deal is not working out until tonight, so they need also a defensive player. So that's the latest news here. So they are in the...
So he's saying the latest news there that Chelsea are in for him, but Fabrizio Romano actually saying that Chelsea are focusing on different players, meaning that Manchester United, currently as it stands, as this is breaking story, this could well change. But Man United are leading the race and are front runners for Marcel Sabitzer. It's not a name that anybody has been discussing, anybody been talking about. As I said, the player I was speaking about from Bayern Munich was Ryan Gravenberch. Hell, maybe that was a conversation that originally happened. But you know what I really like about this, first and foremost? The press had absolutely no idea. Eric, you dirty dog. That's what I called him. He said that, Man United, it's hard for United to do anything like this late in the market. We're probably not going to be going in for him. I like it when my manager does that. Fuck the media. Don't let them know what's going on. Keep your cards close to your chest. And I'll tell you what, United have done that here with the Eriksen situation. I'll tell you what, even if the Eriksen situation hadn't evolved, you can look at Marcel Sabitzer and say, you know what, I can understand why that would be a good signing. Now, of course, Sabitzer is a player who joined Bayern Munich from RB Leipzig. He was at Leipzig under Nagelsmann before Nagelsmann moved to Bayern, and now he brought him to Bayern as well. He is an Austrian. This kind of feels like a signing, right? It feels like a name that I think would have been linked to Manchester United under Ralf Rangnick. He's that sort of combative. He does... combative is a bit of a harsh way to describe him. Let's have a quick look and a run through his stats. But he's a very versatile midfielder. You take a look here at the heat map of his position in the Bundesliga this season, playing slightly off the left of centre midfield. Let's go back and look at last season as well. As you can see, he's a bit of everywhere. Only 28 years old. He's not a massively over-the-hill player in any way, shape or form. But if you take a look at his career stats to date, look at him, man. 57 appearances on left wing. Even played centre forward 39 times. Right wing. Supporting striker, attacking midfielder, central midfielder, defensive midfielder. He's got a little bit of everything in his locker. And even, as I said, for a lot of people, Sabitzer is a player who, in certain areas, might be just as good as Christian Eriksen. He'd certainly have more of a physical engine about him. Christian Eriksen, if we're looking at if we were going to be criticising, I'm not going to try and criticise him, but I'm saying what Christian Eriksen tired towards the 70th minute of a game. And that wouldn't be an issue that you get with Sabitzer by comparison. If you take a look at how his stats are on FB Ref, you can see where his strengths are lying. He definitely is a man who offers a threat going forward. He offers himself as an option to bring the ball forward. Tackling up there in the top 8th percentile. Non-penalty expected goals and assists. That's where his strengths are. What we really need is for somebody to be able to bring that ball forward. Now there's him playing for Leipzig against United back a couple of years ago, back in the Champions League. Was that the game where Delo got done by 2 balls over the top? No, was it Wan-Bissaka with 2 balls over the top? I think it was. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. But I like the idea of this. I can understand the idea of this. Is this an emergency late move by Manchester United? Yes, it is. But that's exactly what we need to do here. I as much as I love seeing youth players come through, and I really, really do, I don't think we've got anybody inside this squad currently who can replace Eriksen. Now, I'm not saying that Sabitzer is going to be a like-for-like replacement for Eriksen, because I don't think he will be. But he certainly has got a lot of skills in a wide variety of positions in midfield. And on the one hand, you could say he's a body for the sake of a body. Just bringing in a midfielder for the sake of it. I think that'll be slightly unfair on Sabitzer. He's a good player. Bayern Munich assigned him. And Bayern Munich rarely miss. They rarely miss. Now, I think maybe the conversation around going there to Bayern Munich and speak to them, I think it might well have been around Gravenberch, first and foremost. But because Bayern Munich, this may well, Sabitzer leaving, may well give Gravenberch a platform to then get more minutes inside that team. But what do you think about this story that's breaking? I'm going to read, see if there's any other big news on this. This is breaking as I'm recording. But it's good to see Manchester United making a move. As I said, Erik ten Hag went to the press and said, nah, look, we've got Fred, we've got Casemiro. We can cope without Eriksen. I think the truth and the reality is Man United can't cope without Eriksen. As it currently stands, we've only got Casemiro and Fred as the only fit midfielders inside our squad, because McTominay has currently got a niggling injury too. That's not enough depth, given the amount of games that United are going to be playing. Now, from a tactical perspective, I'll be doing a video on Sabitzer tomorrow if this deal goes through. And bear this in mind as well. I believe the Bundesliga transfer window closes a little bit earlier than 11 o'clock tonight. So if Manchester United do want to get this over the line and do want to get this done, I don't think this is something we can wait around for. But for the full story there, to run through one more time, it came from Florian Plettenberg there, out in Sky Germany, backed up by Christian Falk, followed up by Fabrizio Romano, as well as Jason Burt from The Telegraph. Manchester United are in talks with Sky Germany, confirming that we have already, it's not just an initial conversation. Effectively, what's been going on here is Manchester United behind the scenes, whilst Erik ten Hag has said that nothing can happen, we've been in talks with Bayern Munich. That's how a club should operate. Keep cards close to your chest. Now, this is, of course, a reaction to the injury to Christian Eriksen, but this is a reaction that was needed. We needed to bring someone in. Is that going to be Marcel Sabitzer? Well, it sounds like he's the most likely option. You can let me know what you think about him in the comments below. Any Bayern Munich fans, anybody who's watched a lot of Leipzig or a lot of the Austrian national team, I think he scored in Rangnick's first game as Austrian national manager. Austrian's national team manager. There we go. You can let me know in the comments below, but I will cover this full story. Maybe I'll be going live later on if Manchester United can get this deal over the line. But we are in talks. Erik ten Hag has identified him, and I tell you what, I can understand and I can see a logic as to why he would be brought in. Let's see what happens, but United are making moves, and at the very least, that's what is needed after the Eriksen injury.